Staff member doesn't respond unless you specifically say their name. I'm looking at how to approach a staff member about listening and being aware of surroundings. How would you approach someone about this? We have already said, "Hey Jason. I think going forward you need to make sure you're always listening and aware of what others are doing." And he said, "How do I know people are speaking to me?" It's becoming an issue to other staff members. So if we are having a team briefing, he will be there with everyone else, but if you ask him a question he will say, "Sorry, I wasn't listening. I didn't realize it was aimed at me." But during a staff huddle, surely you just listen to the whole briefing for the shift. So we will repeat it all, and I can see people getting irritated at having to listen to it all again. Then all day. Unless you specifically say, "Jason, please can you take this drink over to table 2, he will just completely ignore you as if you never said anything. Even though it's just you and him behind the bar and you've left the drink in front of him. He will say, "Sorry, I didn't realize you were talking to me." It's becoming irritating as things are having to be repeated constantly and things aren't getting done, and this comes down to the fact we aren't specifically saying "Jason" at the start of the sentence. This includes small things. Just me and him behind the bar. If I said, "How was your weekend?" he won't respond and will be silent unless I said, "Jason, how was your weekend?" We all make a conscious effort to say his name, but I also think the issue is listening skills and being aware of what's happening around him. I also have a slight feeling he is listening and is using it as an excuse, but that's maybe me being cynical. Any advice or similar experiences, stories welcome. Thank you. I managed someone like this. The person I managed had a rough childhood and was neglected as a child. Hence, they would ignore general announcements and would only respond if you included their name. As their manager, I went out of my way to include them by name in events and conversations. "Hey, XYZ. What do you think about this? XYZ. Didn't you tell me about a similar story?" After a while, they warmed up to the work environment. Gosh. They were the most loyal and dedicated employee I ever had as a manager. It sucked when I transferred, but that's that. Sounds like the dude legit has a hard time hearing or focusing. Could be a sensory issue, like overstimulation, or could be he's in his head and has life stressor making him anxious. I've had this issue at times in my life, and it makes being present and relaxed very difficult. Doesn't sound like he's fucking with you. Buy pizza. Yell out it's is for everyone. See if he eats any. If he does, he's a liar. If he does not, well, he's got some kind of disability or something. Just make sure it's pizza he likes. He could have ADHD or be on some other ND spectrum. ADHD auditory processing issues. I will often say what? 3 or 4 times because someone rambles and I am trying to figure out what information is actually important. Can't stand filler conversation. Just get to the point type of person. If I am doing something I will 100 not hear someone without my name or a tap to bring me into what they are saying. This is a feature that has developed so I can work without getting distracted by minutia. Your staff huddles sound like hell for me. Could it be replaced by a punch list? Hey Jason. We need you to pay attention in the huddle right now. Hey Jason. Are you still with us, buddy? Hey everyone, and this includes you, Jason. You could try, "Hey Jason, today is your last day." I like Jason already. The business has an employee who will do exactly what he's needed to do and won't be distracted by anything. Some people are like this, you just need to know what you've got and learn how to work with them. Jason has been placed on this planet to teach you all to communicate properly. Why is everyone hating on Jason? I agree with the top comment. I am like this too. I don't do it on purpose. I think I'm just used to being ignored and not included or valued. So I just don't register directions unless I'm directly addressed. And I will use people's names when addressing them. I haven't had a problem as places catch on. If he's a good worker and you value having him around, just make the adjustment. Unless he seems like the douchebag type to purposely be ignoring you guys. Just make some accommodations in the way you guys speak. As a father of 3 teenagers, I worry this may be more normal than one would ever expect. I would sit down and have a meeting with him first and explain the gravity of the situation. The restaurant is not a solitary job. It's a team effort and you need to multitask and be alert. If he's hard of hearing or impaired in some way, that's one thing, but if he's just ignoring you, he can go. There are lots of great people who need a job right now. My sister's kid is considered high-functioning autistic and so are her friends. Some have what some would call hyperfocus or tunnel vision, and unless you use a signifier to prompt them, aka their name, they won't acknowledge me. Not everyone is neurotypical. I wonder what will become of my niece when she's old enough to get a job. We're preparing her as best as we can for the mercurial, volatile, and nuanced world of adults. Honestly, he's probably neurodivergent, probably undiagnosed. It took me like 15 years of constant effort and I still miss it sometimes. Person might be on the spectrum. Many people are and just don't know it, never diagnosed. I have ADHD and this is 100% my symptoms unless someone says my name. All speech is background that I tune out to focus on my task. And the daydreaming, losing the thread of the conversation struggle is real. I'll say it. This guy is not cut out for this job or this workplace. Neurodivergent or not, he's not the right guy for this job. I would not make a good professional football player. And that's not being cruel to an otherwise normal 150-pound person. Some jobs or workplaces just aren't for everybody. I'd see if maybe there's a different role at your organization that might fit his personality better. Otherwise, I'd let him go. I like the pizza idea. He could be on the spectrum and this would help you out to see if you do indeed need to say his name when speaking to him. It also doesn't put the attention on him. As far as meetings go, I would let him know that all the things spoken about in the meeting are for him and politely say he needs to pay attention. I get like this in open office chatty environments. It's exhausting to filter out all the noise that isn't aimed at you and do your work. When 99% of the chit-chat isn't relevant to work, I sort of turn my ears off. I'm guessing this guy also avoids workplace drama gossip. If the behaviors of one single employee affect the morale of the entire team, I would fire them. If it is isolated to themselves and their own work, then coaching is appropriate and could be managed by withholding bonuses or some other motivation. Jason sitting in a coffee shop. Someone yells, "There's a tornado coming, run for your lives." Everyone panics and runs away. Jason slowly sips coffee.